So welcome everyone and good morning. We are organizing today this ESM-Tools workshop. This is organized basically by me, Miguel Andres Martinez here, and Dennis Ural. We are both at the Climate Dynamics. Most of you know us, and we are part of the ESM-Tools team. And this is number 2 of a series of workshops that we've organized. Number 1 was yesterday. Git, very nicely led by Dennis, and for the workshop about ESM-Tools, I'll be leading today and tomorrow, and he will be assisting. Yeah. So what is this workshop about? So we are going to be learning how to run simulations with ESM-Tools, and that's pretty basic, I would consider. But then we will also be understanding the concepts on the syntax about ESM-Tools and how to start to get a little bit more advanced with ESM-Tools. And we will also understand how models are configured inside ESM-Tools, and we will be looking a lot into the configuration files. And we will move into more advanced configurations through YAML files. So we will not look at the source code of ESM-Tools, but we are going to be looking at the configuration files. That can get already quite advanced. So I sent out a questionnaire to all of you to fill out several information, but also I asked this question, is there any specific ESM-Tools topic you would like us to cover in detail? And we get some answers. This was actually Dennis, how to implement a couple setup. Well, you know that already. But for this course, that's a little bit too advanced, and I don't think anyone here is trying to implement a full couple setup. In any case, we are covering most of what is needed in this course, just not in one single unit, but we are covering a lot of different pieces. So it shouldn't be so difficult for you at the end of this course to at least get started and have some very good questions that you can address to us, and we can then help you with a couple setup implementation. So then we have a question about how to run standalone climate models. In this course, we are going to be focusing on couple setups. But the good news is that the way of running a simulation with couple setup and standalone model in ESM-Tools is very, very similar. So that's not a problem at all, and we will be definitely looking at, it's actually one of the exercises to actually be changing, I don't think forcing files, but I think it's input files. But basically we will be handling the copying into the experiment folder of forcing files and input files. There was a comment here, with exclamation mark. I hope we can keep up with this level of enthusiasm. We certainly try. There is another question here about forcing files and standalone models, so it's the same answer as before. Creating and using my own forcing files, that's a little bit out of the scope of this workshop, because this is about ESM-Tools and how to operate ESM-Tools and the models supported by that, while this question is more about the models themselves, so we won't be covering this. And then we also got a question about how to use name list changes.
Click once.
Oh, sorry.
Should go.
Yeah. So there was a question about name list changes, which is a special syntax of ESM-Tools. We will definitely be looking at that, and we actually have an exercise on that. And there is also a question about if we are going to be including offline coupling of a new model. The answer is no, but we are going to be covering tomorrow post-processing introduction into the workflow manager. So, and we will have an exercise on that. So that's very close to an offline coupling. I mean, offline coupling obviously is a little bit more complicated because you need to do things two ways in between two models, but it's in a way is quite similar. But we don't have time to cover the offline coupling. Anyway, what is this workshop not about? Well, we are not going to look into the physics of the model, the different models, or we are not going to be looking at the insights of the different models. It's all about ESM-Tools and how to operate and configure your model through ESM-Tools. And especially, very, very, very importantly, we are going to be focusing most of all on the syntax, how you interact with ESM-Tools to get the simulation you want. So this is a little bit of the outline. So we are going to be starting with a little introduction. Then we will have a question and answer for the exercise that we sent around that was basically to installing ESM-Tools and building the model of your choice. We are going to be using two models here. You can choose which one you want to use for the different exercises. So one is going to be ESM 2.1 and the other one is ESM 3. We will have a little bit of an overview of what is YAML file, what is this type of file. And then we will have a review on the terminology of ESM-Tools. ESM-Tools is relatively big, and we are using some abstract concepts that we need to define so that you can follow us on the presentations. Then we will have an exercise in which we will launch our first simulation. Okay. And then we will start with a medium to advanced content. So we will start to learn about the ESM-Tools extended YAML syntax. And yeah, we will basically having a little bit of introduction for a specific feature and then an exercise. And this is going to be like that also for the advanced usage that is going to be mostly run tomorrow. Very importantly, I would like to mark here the workshop resources. So everything that you see here is going to be, it's already on this link. So if you navigate to this link, you have multiple workshops that we've been organizing. And if you click on the AVI ESM-Tools workshop of today, you can see that you have here the documents, the exercise, the run scripts, and an index. So this index, you can see that it's empty. It's empty because this index is aimed for the online workshop. When we record everything here and then we upload the videos, you will see a list of videos here and a link also to the presentations. In the docs, you can find a folder with PDF and the PowerPoints. So they are the same, but different formats. On the exercise, we have markdown exercises. So this is basically a nice language to basically write tests and make it beautiful. And we will have the solutions under this solution expandable or whatever name. And then we have run scripts, which are the two run scripts that we are going to be editing and using for all the exercises. And maybe you still don't understand really fully the concept of run script, because a run script normally is a bash script, but we will be, typically it's a bash script. Why is a YAML file here? Well, we will be looking into that later on. But basically the important part here is that you should be able to access all these